I'm here. I just can't type anything right now. Hey, PJ, thanks for joining. I just tweeted it out. I was waiting for Sleuth Mom's live to end. I was hoping I would get more people in here after her live was over. But it's okay. We will hang out and learn about the Amber Alert together. How's the music, PJ? Is it too loud? Is it too low? I'm over here just jamming. So, in true crime, we come across a lot of alerts for missing children, missing people. We've got silver alerts, amber alerts, code reds, code Adams. We have Miley alerts. We have Rachel's call, Levi's call, Maddie's call. And lately, there's been a push for more calls and more alerts in the different cases that we've seen, especially Cody. There's a real push for the Cody alert, for alerts that can go out in lieu of an Amber Alert. So I came across this the other night. I was actually reading about something else, and it kind of down the rabbit hole, and it led me to the Amber Alerts Wikipedia page. And I was thinking, People complain a lot about when there's not an Amber Alert issued, but once we get into this, you're going to see that we actually have more Amber Alerts issued than we should have, which is kind of contributing, in my opinion, to desensitization to the Amber Alert system. But the federal guidelines for an Amber Alert, they're broken on a regular basis. So we actually have alerts going out for more kids than what would actually happen if they followed the strict protocols that are in place. Put it in there. Thank you. Close the door because y'all's TV is kind of loud. Lock it so nobody else opens it. She might have.
Every time I go to sleep, she just walks.
Ah. Okay, so go that way. You can come back later. That's my book. Okay, go in there and read it. Thank you. Love you. Okay. So Gabs writes books too. So she wrote one called Gigi's Story, and now she wrote Gigi's Story 2. I love that kid. She is so sweet and creative. So back to the Amber Alert. The Amber Alert was created 26 years ago. Well, not 26 years ago. Let's read this article. Texas girl's abduction inspired the life-saving Amber Alert, but 26 years later, her own case remains unsolved. This article is dated January 13th of this year. On this day in 1996, 9-year-old Amber Hagerman was snatched off her pink bicycle in Arlington, Texas, and forced into the back. I don't know why this happens. Every time I go live, I start yawning. And forced into a black pickup truck. Her body was found 4 days later near a stream. Let's see what this is saying.
I believe there's somebody out there who has the key piece of information. And I don't know why word last 26 years, but
and was in there's house in Arkansas, man for bike in broad daylight.
the suspect gets out of the driver's side door. Runs up behind Amber, grabs her kind of underneath her arm, then her back towards the truck. He describes her yelling and kicking, and that the suspect places her straight in the truck, gets in quickly, and drives off.
The story dominated the headlines.
I knew immediately if that were my child, I would want everybody looking. I would want everybody doing everything they could to help. And the media was begging for information.
Then, 4 agonizing days later, Amber's body was discovered in a creek.
You can't tell me you can drive a large truck through a densely populated area and not be seen. In my mind, people did see them, but the problem was they didn't know what they were seeing because the public wasn't informed until hours later.
The KC
The was devastated and looking, but had no tools to do it with.
After abduction, then 51, sent this letter to a local radio station.
It said basically, I would like to suggest that a plan be initiated, that stations would agree. A verified 911 call comes in to interrupting any of the pertinent details in regard to this.
The Amber Alert was born. Sadly, it was too late for Amber Hagerman. Not giving up.
This case has always remained active. All these years later, we continue to get tips, continue to get leads, and every one of them are followed up on. I absolutely do believe this case will get solved. We want to give Amber's and her brother the answers they deserve.
A baby who vanished in the 1980s, along with her parents who were later found murdered, has been found alive and well.
So that's Amber's story. Let's get this closed out. On January 13th, 1996, 9-year-old Amber Hagerman was riding her pink bicycle beside her younger brother Ricky in the parking lot of an abandoned Winn-Dixie grocery store. Ricky decided to pedal back to his grandparents' Arlington home, but before Amber could join him, a man driving a black pickup truck snatched her off her bicycle, put her inside the driver's side door, and took off. An elderly man who witnessed the abduction from his backyard told police he saw the 1980s or 90s truck parked earlier at a nearby laundromat before the assailant drove up, kidnapped Amber, and drove towards the center of Arlington, away from nearby Highway 360. 4 days later, a man walking his dog found Amber's body near a creek, about 4 miles from the parking lot where she was taken. Police believe the suspect, who was described as a white or Hispanic male in his 20s or 30s, under 6 feet tall with dark hair, was a local. Based on the direction of travel when they left the Winn-Dixie, and then based on her being found in Arlington, being abducted in Arlington, and just being in that spot, the question has always been, did somebody have a connection with that area where the abduction was? Arlington Police Sergeant Grant Gilden tells People in this week's issue. And here we have another picture of Amber Hagerman. It's a very secluded area where her body was found. We do believe you'd have to be somewhat familiar with the area to know where that creek is, he says. Was there a connection to that location? And was it someone who had a reason for turning back to the center of town? The thought has always been that the easiest way to get out of the area would have been to go to Highway 360. Amber's murder sent anguish and anger throughout the community and beyond. Texas mom Diana Simone couldn't stop thinking about how a kidnapper snatched Amber and escaped without a trace. I said, I can't get over this child. There has to be something we can do, Simone tells People. There were weather and civil defense alerts, so why wouldn't they do it for this? And that is Amber's mother, Donna Williams, at a press conference. Simone called a local radio station with her idea of an emergency system that would be set up so that when a 911 call was placed, radio stations would immediately interrupt programming to broadcast the alert. 14 days after Amber's abduction, she wrote a letter to the station requesting that if her alert system was put into place, it would be known as Amber's Plan. The plan, renamed the Amber for America's Missing Broadcast Emergency Response Alert, was put into place that same year. Today, Amber Alerts are used in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and 33 countries. To date, they have saved at least 1,085 children in the US, according to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Without people caring and willing to participate, I don't care how good of an idea it is, it would have gone nowhere, says Simone. It's the goodness in the hearts of the people who care that are making the difference. And this is Amber's mother at her memorial in Arlington, Texas. Shockingly, despite the far-reaching impact of Amber's case, and despite over 7,000 tips, her killer remains at large 26 years later. We continue to have leads, says Gilden, and there are still several leads that we continue to investigate extensively as possible suspects. A lot of people will refer to Amber's case as what's commonly referred to as a cold case. All right, I'm back. Police are hopeful that recent advancements in DNA testing being used on evidence collected in Amber's case, as well as any new tips from the public, will finally solve it. I remain optimistic that this case will be solved, says Gilden, who believes the killer is still alive. I do believe there's definitely someone out there who has the answers that we're looking for and can help lead us in the right direction. So that's why we continue to work it. Our goal has always remained the same, and that's to catch who did this and be able to prosecute them. Amber was just a very sweet, innocent child, and that's the memory we got to hold on to as we investigate. He said that this is someone who was doing something as innocent as riding a bicycle, and evil found her that day. Anyone with information about Amber's case is asked to call the Arlington Police Department at 817-575-8823 or Crime Stoppers of Tarrant County at 817-469-TIPS. That's 817-469-8477. It's really sad that the very person who inspired the Amber Alert system that has saved so many children, that her case is still unsolved 26 years later. It will be so wonderful to open up the news one day and hear that her case is solved, that the right tip came in, that someone confessed, that something broke in this story, and now the girl whose own death has saved so many has received justice. So before we get into the heart of the Amber Alert, I want to tell you about the longest running Amber Alert in Florida history. I looked for information on the longest running Amber Alert anywhere, but I was unable to find any type of statistics that keep track of that. But I think if anyone ever decides to keep track of the longest running, the shortest, or whatever, that this one will definitely be in the running for longest running ever. It's been almost 20 years since Zachary Bernhardt disappeared and his family started fighting for his safe return. He disappeared on September 11th, 2000. His Amber Alert is still active in the state of Florida. It has been active for 20 years. Zachary would be 28 years old now. Zachary's aunt, Billy Joe Jimenez, said that the last thing her sister said to her, Zachary's mother, was, "Please don't stop looking for Zach. We don't want people to stop looking for him. He's out there until otherwise." I do want to share with you this list real quick. Let's get that on the screen. This is from the Missing Endangered Persons Information Clearinghouse, or MIPIC. These are the current active Amber Alerts in Florida. You see Zachary Bennett here at the bottom of the list. Hold on. Okay. Add that to the screen. You see Zachary Bennett's here at the bottom of the list. It has been active since 9/11/2000. He was 8 years old when he went missing. He would be 30 years old now. So his Amber Alert is actually like 22 years running. Aside Jerkias Aside, 10/8/01. He was 1 year old when he went missing from Miami, Florida. He would be 21 years old today. He is a Black male. Let's take a quick look at his pictures and his age progression. This is Jerkias Aside. And these are his age progressed photos here. Says Jerkias was abducted by 3 unknown males during an early morning home invasion robbery on October 18, 2001. Jerkias was last seen wearing a red, white, and blue shirt and a diaper. His photo has been age progressed to 12 years old and 14 years old. He may respond to the nickname Kisha. I will post the link for this website in the description so that you can go and check out these currently active Florida Amber Alerts. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them from as recently as 2020, which is Andrew Caballero. Some of us may recall that case. His father murdered his mother and his grandmother and then stole him. And he has not been seen since. And I believe the father committed suicide, but they did not find Andrew in the car. So we have them as recent as 2020, going all the way back to Zachary Bernhardt in 2000. So now let's talk about the Amber Alert itself. And this is coming from Wikipedia. An Amber Alert, ultimately styled Amber All Caps Alert or Child Abduction Emergency Alert, is a message distributed by a child abduction alert system to ask the public for help in finding abducted children. The system originated in the United States. AMBER is a backronym, In other words, it's like an acronym, but instead of making the word from the initial letters of a phrase, it is a phrase created from the letters of an existing word. So the name Amber, and then they came up with the phrase that fit it. Come on, Bob. Hold on a second. Sorry for the interruption. But AMBER stands for America's Missing Broadcast Emergency Response. It was created in reference to Amber Renee Hagerman, a girl who was abducted and later found murdered in 1996. We just heard her story. Alternative regional alert names were once used. In Georgia, Levi's Call in memory of Levi Frady. In Hawaii, Miley Amber Alert in memory of Miley Gilbert. In Arkansas, Morgan Nick Amber Alert in memory of Morgan Nick. And in Utah, Rachel's Alert in memory of Rachel Runyon. So we see that Amber Alerts can be called other things in other places. Most places have Amber Alert in it some type of way, or it's just known to the people in that region. that that's what it is. So a lot of times when we hear these different alerts and calls, some people are still getting outraged. They're like, why didn't they do an Amber Alert? It's an Amber Alert. They just called it something different in that area. So in the United States, Amber Alerts are distributed via commercial and public radio stations, internet radio, satellite radio, television stations, text messages, and cable TV by the Emergency Alert System and NOAA Weather Radio, where they are termed Child Abduction Emergency or Amber Alerts. The alerts are also issued via email, electronic traffic condition signs, and commercial electronic billboards, or through wireless device SMS text messages. Amber Alert has also teamed up with Google, Bing, and Facebook to relay information regarding an Amber Alert to an ever-growing demographic. Amber Alerts are automatically displayed if citizens search or use map features on Bing or Google. With the Google Child Alert, also called Google Amber Alert in some countries, citizens see an Amber Alert if they search for related information in a particular location where a child has recently been abducted and an alert was issued. Now, I didn't know about that. That's something that I'm going to keep an eye open for. The next time there's like an Amber Alert in my area, I'm going to search something on Google Maps or Bing Maps and see what pops up, because that is a very helpful feature. It's very interesting to know that. So I did learn something from this little rabbit hole that I went down. Okay, where am I at? This is a component of the Amber Alert system that is already active in the US. There are also developments in Europe. Those interested in subscribing to receive Amber Alerts in their area via SMS message can visit the wireless Amber Alerts, which are offered by law as free messages. In some states, the display scroll boards in front of lottery terminals are also used. And I signed up for the Adam Alert, or the Adam program. When you go to NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, if you scroll down, you'll see something called the Adam program. And I'm going to just go ahead and show you that right now so that you get alerts. You make sure that you get alerts when a child goes missing in your area. So I'm scrolling on down. Okay, it looks a little different on here than it does on the phone. Let's see. Okay, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Let's see, under how to receive wireless. Well, I signed up on the phone and it looks a little different on the phone than it does on here. There's a thing called the Adam Alert. Well, the Adam program. Come on, Bubs. Come on, close the door. All right, well, I will get the link for that off my phone, and I will add that to the description as well, because I guess there's a difference in the way the mobile page is set up and the page for like regular computers, because when I just scrolled down on that main page and there was this thing called sign up for the ATOM program, where you make sure that you get Amber Alerts in your area. And okay, thank you. And you get those alerts based on whatever area code that you put in. Like I live in one state, but I'm from somewhere else, so I could have put in my area code from my home and gotten alerts from there or whatever. So if you have like grandchildren or children who are living in another place, you could put in the area code for where they live or where they're spending time, and that way you get Amber Alert notifications from there, just as a precaution. You know, I want to know if an Amber Alert, if somebody was snatching kids in an area where my kids or grandkids were. So, all right. The decision to declare an Amber Alert is made by each police organization. In many cases, the state police or highway patrol that investigates each of the abductions. Public information on an Amber Alert usually consists of the name and description of the abductee, a description of the suspected abductor, and a description and license plate number of the abductor's vehicle if available. Now you can see here, and I'm not going to go through all that, but you can see here that it has been adopted internationally, not just the United States. You see Canada, British Columbia, Quebec, Ontario, Mexico, Australia, Europe. You see France, the Netherlands, UK, Ireland, Slovak Republic, Ukraine, China, Malaysia, Ecuador, Russia. So it is, though it started in the United States, it is in effect in a lot more places. Now, here is the thing that people have a lot of questions about, and I'm not going to read this whole thing either, but under the federal guidance from the U.S. Department of Justice, there are 4 criteria, and it says the U.S. Department of Justice issues the following quote unquote guidance, which most states are said to adhere closely to. So straight from the U.S. Department of Justice, there are 4 criteria for issuing an Amber Alert. Law enforcement must confirm that an abduction has taken place. The child must be at risk of serious injury or death. There must be sufficient descriptive information of the child, captor, or captor's vehicle to issue an alert. The child must be under 17 years old. I really wanted to get to this part because this right here, we see how many kids get Amber Alerts that technically they're not supposed to. And people get upset when Amber Alerts are not issued, but this is the federal guidance on it. One of the main things of the federal guidance that gets ignored a lot when local agencies are issuing Amber Alerts is law enforcement must confirm that that an abduction has taken place. Bubby, please stop. Bubby, no. We see so many Amber Alerts come out where there is no abduction, there's no evidence of an abduction, it's a missing child. They don't have a description of a vehicle. They don't have a description of a captor or an abductor. And a lot of these cases where the child is not at risk of serious injury or death. Let's take Summer for instance. Summer, there was no. Sleuth Mom said, "Hello, Bubby, playing the drums." But we see in Summer's case, there was no evidence of an abduction, so no abduction was confirmed. But yet she got an Amber Alert. She may or may not have been at risk of serious injury or death. They didn't know that one way or another because they had no idea where she went. She could have just been wandering around the neighborhood. So that's at least 2 criteria that were ignored from the federal guidance to issue that Amber Alert. And we see that in a lot of cases. And so we really get more Amber Alerts than what we're technically supposed to get because agencies use their own discretion in a lot of cases. And the federal guidance was actually intended so that people aren't getting desensitized by overuse of the system. For every child who goes missing, there's an Amber Alert, and people's phones and TVs and radios are constantly popping off because somebody went missing. And it turns out not to be a serious situation. I'm going to read a little bit of this. Many law enforcement agencies have not used the second criterion, resulting in many parental abductions triggering an Amber Alert where the child is not known or assumed to be at risk of serious injury or death. In 2013, West Virginia passed Schuyler's Law to eliminate Oh, I'm sorry, I got a text message in. Use Schuyler's Law to eliminate number one as a criterion for triggering the Amber Alert. So we're seeing that a lot of them don't even use the second criterion. And then we have at least West Virginia and some other places who aren't using the first criterion either. And so a lot of places are going simply on that there must be sufficient descriptive information of the child, captor, or captor's vehicle. Notice that the key word is or, not and. So it doesn't have to be a description of an abductor or a car included. It could just be a description of the missing child. And we see that a lot where there is no description for anyone who's taken the child. There's no description of a vehicle or anything else other than the missing child themselves. And then the child must be under 17. So basically those are the only criterion, the only two criterion that a lot of agencies are going by. And so and I did this because so many people get frustrated and complain about Amber Alerts not being issued, as if the system is not being used enough or properly. And what we actually see is that Amber Alerts are being used more than what they were even intended to be used. Hey, Tim, how are you doing? So we're actually getting alert and getting awareness out there for more children than we would if they stuck to the guidelines that the DOJ actually set for Amber Alerts. I'm gonna go down here. Incidents not meeting alert criteria. For incidents that do not meet Amber Alert criteria, the United States Department of Justice developed the Child Abduction Response Teams, CART, which is different from CARD, the Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Teams that you get with the FBI. This CART team is something entirely different. All right, go tell Daddy you need some drink. For incidents which do not meet Amber Alert criteria, the United States DOJ developed the Child Abduction Response Teams program to assist local agencies. This program can be used in all missing children's cases with or without an Amber Alert. CART can also be used to help recover runaway children under the age of 18 and who are in danger. As of 2010, 225 response teams have been trained in 43 states, as well as Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, and Canada. Now, that's something that I haven't heard a whole lot about, is CART teams being used. It may be a resource that they're just automatically including, and so we might not necessarily hear about it. It might not be a big deal to them. Since Tim, I wanted to tell you guys, I went back and listened to all the nice words you and Tony said. Very nice. But that might be a resource that's almost automatically playing in the background of everything else that's going on, when we're hearing about the FBI coming in with their CART teams, and we're hearing about the state troopers and the state bureau investigations coming in, and we're not hearing about these CART teams. I honestly, until I read this article, I had no idea that there was a Child Abduction Response Teams program meant for this wide demographic of children who don't meet the criteria for an Amber Alert until I read this article. So I'm sure that the law enforcement agencies are aware of it, but I like that little piece of information because it kind of lets us know that even if there isn't an Amber Alert out there for a child, that doesn't mean that they're not getting adequate resources to find them and locate them and bring them home safely. There are other components besides just an Amber Alert. There are other things in place that can be done besides issuing an Amber Alert, because again, going back to the whole desensitization, somebody say the word for me because I can't talk. Desensitization that you get when you're constantly hearing something. I mean, I don't even pay attention to that mess at the gas pumps anymore. I used to, because it was new and novel. Oh, TV while I pump my gas, even though it's just one long ad, but TV while I pump my gas, weather while I pump my gas. Now it's just like, okay, somebody turn it off. And so us not getting all these Amber Alerts every single time a child goes missing is a good thing, because at this point, we're at a point where people are still paying attention to Amber Alerts. But can you imagine if it was a constant thing? Every single time a child went missing and anybody felt like, oh, they need an Amber Alert, so they get one. Children go missing all the time and it's not Amber Alert worthy because they just went to a friend's house and forgot to tell someone, or left their phone at school accidentally and they're over at the park playing basketball like they normally do. You know, it could be some of anything. Phone got stolen at the mall. You know, anything. And so we don't want to get numb to the Amber Alerts. And I think right now we're at a good place with that. But just know that there are other resources that come into play for children who don't meet the criteria for Amber Alerts. I would like to know how often that's being used, especially with how many cases that we see that the police just label them runaway. And since this article says that CART teams can also be used to recover runaway children under the age of 18 who are in danger. And so usually when a child runs away, I don't know if law enforcement looks at it this way, which obviously they don't, but I look at it as if a child runs away, that child is in danger, because either that child is running from a bad situation at home, or that child is running to what they think they want that may not turn out to be what they expected. You know, they're running to this dream somebody has sold them about, oh, you can just come over here and hang out and chill and have fun, and we'll party and drink and we'll smoke, and you know, it'll be a good old time and no rules, and you can game all day or sleep all day or whatever you want to do. And then when they get there, they've been groomed, and so now they're a victim of trafficking, of assaults, of manipulations of different sorts. And so a runaway may actually be in more danger than, and more deserving of some extra resources than, say, a child who's been abducted by a parent, which we also know that abduction by a parent does not necessarily automatically mean that the child is safe. We even saw recently where that man abducted his daughter and killed her. Killed the mom, shot the grandma, killed himself and his little girl. So, not saying that one situation is automatically less dangerous than the other, but saying that, you know, sometimes a runaway may actually be in more danger, because either way, they're either running from something bad or running to something bad. Most likely running to something bad. Not yet. The bread is in the oven and the rice is cooking. Please close the door. No, it's cooking. Please close the door. It'll be done in a little bit. I love you. Okay. All right. I think that's really most of what I wanted to cover. A lot of the rest of this article just goes into how it's international now, and it goes into the details of how other countries employ it, their criteria, which is basically essentially the exact same as here in the US. As a matter of fact, in Quebec, it's still an Amber Alert, even though it's in French. They phrased it in French. And the direct translation will be media alert for child recovery. But in French, it kind of reads alert media for Child Recovery, which comes out to Amber, AMBER. So it's just a lot of information like that, when they joined, when they implemented the program in different countries. Now here, there's a little bit of information on it in Europe that I found interesting. Where do I want to start? Okay, in Europe, they have a thing called PEN-MP, which is the Police Expert Network on Missing Persons. It was founded by the Amber Alert Europe Foundation. It is officially recognized by the Council of the European Union and all member states. The PEN-MP is the official European missing persons police network consisting of police experts in the field of missing persons from all over Europe. So far, the PEN-MP consists of over 80 law enforcement experts from 30 countries. Goal of the PEN-MP is to bring together law enforcement experts in the field of missing persons, specifically children. In order to save more missing persons across Europe, members can quickly contact and consult each other about missing persons cases. The PEN-MP also provides specialist support, advice, and training to its members. The PEN-MP was announced in 2016 under the Dutch presidency of the Council of the European Union. At its launch, the Dutch presidency called on every member state to appoint a national contact for the network. In support of the Dutch initiative, a majority of 465 members of the European Parliament from all over the European Union member states signed Amber Alert Europe's written declaration for better European cooperation on saving the lives of missing children. The PEN-MP is now officially recognized by the Council of European Union with its formal affiliation to the Law Enforcement Working Party, or LEUP. According to Amber Alert Europe, a child whose whereabouts is not known will be considered as missing until located and their well-being or otherwise confirmed. All cases should be assessed to determine the seriousness of immediacy of risk, which will indicate the response that is required. For more detailed information on risk assessment, see Understanding and Managing Risk in the Context of Missing Persons. So I thought that was interesting, that they have a whole network of experts who can just quickly get in touch with each other and share information, share resources, share information. And the way that it's reading, to me, it sounds like kind of an on-call thing. You know, somebody goes missing, this person needs some kind of help or assistance or a consultation. They can get on the phone or the computer or whatever and immediately be able to get in touch with another expert who is more specialized in that type of information that they need. And I think that is an awesome and amazing thing to have instituted and established in order to help find missing persons, especially, and they said it is dedicated to specifically to missing children. Oh, Bubby is cutting up today. Here you go, Bubby. Come on. Shh. What you fussing about? You want to say hey? Say hey.
Hey.
Say hello. Okay, you leaving again? Don't touch. Don't touch. Don't touch. Are you being disobedient? This is the last part that I'm going to read, and this is about the retrieval rate. Now, I really would like for people to go in and read this article. I'm not actually going to read that. I really would like for people to go in and read this article, especially towards the end where it's talking about the retrieval rate and the controversies, overuse, and effects on traffic, because there is an argument that the Amber Alert system does not actually save as many children as they proclaim that they do, that it cannot be accurately measured because there is no definitive way to know what would happen if there was no Amber Alert issued. And I kind of understand that argument, but yeah, it's interesting reading. I went down the rabbit hole on this one. I learned a lot. Please stop, Bubby. Yeah, Bubby's done being live, so I guess I'm done being live too. please, I will link everything in the description. Please check out the Wikipedia page on this. It has some interesting reading. It has some interesting references if you just really want to go down those rabbit holes with me. I think you could stand to learn a lot or to refresh a lot of what you already know. So I want to thank everyone who joined me. I will be I'm going to end up taking this live down since there was like 45 minutes of it that was just dead air because I was over in Sleuth's live. I saw her live. I was like, you know what? I'll be back. So I went and watched the coverage on Harry Conde, which was really excellent coverage. Sleuth, thank you so much for covering that case. I had my suspicions that it would not turn out well. I just didn't want to say anything, which is why I didn't do any coverage on that case at all, because I had a bad feeling. B Tim says, will do, thank you for the video, Savage, and the new mic sounds better. You know what? It does, and I figured out what the problem was, so I might not have even needed a new mic. There's something going on with the wiring in my computer. When I plug anything into the microphone, I noticed that my headset gets sound. You don't have what? You do have it. It's behind your back. She's got this thing now where she hides stuff behind her back. She says, I don't have. But yeah, when I plug the headset into the mic jack, I have to speak into the earphones like they're the mic. So the wiring reversed some kind of way. I don't know even what's wrong with that. So there probably wasn't even anything wrong with the first headset. It was just, I didn't realize at that point that it was wired backwards or something. I have no clue. It's crazy. Yeah, she does. Say hey, Bubby. Bubby. You want to tell everybody bye? Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you later. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'll download this video, edit it, and cut out the dead space at the beginning. For now, I'll just put like a timestamp that you can click on and go to where the actual show begins. Thanks, guys. And if Bubby goes to sleep at a decent hour, I will be back later. Love y'all.